Hi everyone, it's Mayra, and I wasn't quite sure if I was going to be able to record this video today. I was supposed to go on a walk because this is Walk With Me, and I wasn't able to go on my walk, and thoughts started to come into my head and say like, no, you don't need to record this video because you need to go on a walk. And of course, whenever we start hearing that negative voice, the condemnation, that's not from God, that's from the enemy. And the more and more that I felt that anxiety, I knew that I had to come on here and record this video because it's going to help someone. And if it at least helps one person, that makes me happy and brings joy, because at least I'm helping someone. So today I'm going to talk to you about my prodigal season. I've had two prodigal seasons. My first prodigal season is without knowing Jesus, knowing of him, but not knowing him. So my first prodigal season was before meeting Jesus, before inviting him into my home and beginning a relationship with him. As I mentioned before, I knew of God, I knew of Jesus, but I did not have a relationship with him. I didn't know anything really. I was ignorant. I didn't read the Bible. I didn't have a Bible. I didn't buy one until 2019. And I got it, and I got all the pretty, what do you call those? The little stickers for the chapters. I can't think of the name right now, but I got those, and my Bible was pretty. I got a case for it, and yet it sat there, and I really didn't pick it up. To me, it was overwhelming. I had no idea. It was foreign to me. It was like reading a different language. It didn't make any sense to me at all. So that was my first prodigal season. So during my first prodigal season, which was the longest one because I didn't start a relationship with Jesus until 2021, I would drink away pain, and that's how I handled my trauma, the pain that I had gone through as a child. Drinking was my medicine. And even though in my head it was like, oh, I'll drink and forget my problems, it makes me happy, I would turn into a mean drunk. And yes, I would forget my problems for a moment, but the next day I would have the hangover. I wouldn't have the energy to do anything. I didn't want to do anything at all. And I had children already. So that affected my children too. Like, mommy's sleeping, mommy, we're not doing things. So I didn't really feel conviction at all. I had no idea what conviction was. I mean, I felt shame and condemnation, but I thought that came from me because I was feeling that way. And I had no idea that we are fighting a spiritual battle, that we're constantly fighting against the enemy, and the enemy is always going to come and throw something at you to discourage you from doing it. So whenever you feel that anxiety, whenever you feel you hear those thoughts in your head telling you that you can't do anything, or why are you going to do it? It's not even worth it. It's the enemy. It's the enemy trying to discourage you, because something is going to come of that, of whatever it is that you're trying to do. So as I mentioned, I didn't know God personally. So I didn't feel conviction. I had no idea what was going on. And also in my worldly marriage, I entered with a lot of trauma. My husband entered with a lot of trauma. We didn't know how to heal that. Well, we didn't know we needed to heal that. We were just like, oh, we're married, we're happy. But once you're married and you get to know that person, and all those traumas or the triggers begin, and like the trauma comes up, there's going to be a lot of fighting. And that's what there was, a lot of fighting, because I didn't know how to handle situations. I reacted out of emotions a lot, and it wasn't healthy. It was very, very unhealthy. But then in 2021, I met Jesus. He came into my home and took over. He washed me anew. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't cursing. It's just like I didn't want to. I want to do those things. And following that year, I also was baptized along with my three older girls. My two older girls. My two older girls and I were baptized that following year, 2022. And my walk with Jesus began. So my second prodigal season began in August. My divorce had gone through and I felt released. Basically, okay, I am a divorced woman now, so I can do whatever I want. And I began to drink. I was on dating apps. I was getting attention from men. And my flesh was enjoying that. So instead of seeking God for validation, I was getting the validation from men. And that would just, oh my gosh, it would just make me feel so good about myself. So good. Talking to these men, and these men talking back to me, and, meeting some of these men, which now that I think about it, I was very, very lucky. Because in certain situations, some women aren't lucky when they meet people from a dating app. You never know. You don't know these people. Yes, you know them on the apps, but you don't know them. Anyhow, I was going out. My mom was here watching the kids, and I was going out drinking every weekend. I made friends, and we would go out and drink and have fun. And all of that was not like, it was satisfying at the time. And I knew that God could see everything that I was doing. But I chose to continue. I wasn't feeling any conviction doing this stuff, because the more and more that I decided to drink, decided to go out, decided to talk to these men, the farther and farther I got from God. So I couldn't hear his voice anymore. It was very, very dim. It was like it's like going to a rock concert, or not, it doesn't even have to be a rock concert. It's going to a concert and you hear the loud music. It's like being by a speaker and someone trying to talk to you and you can't hear it. That's exactly what I was going through. And I would always think about God. Don't get me wrong. I would think about God every single day. And I would also tell God, I'm like, God, take this away. Give me conviction, because I don't want to stop doing this. I don't. I'm having way too much fun. I'm getting attention, and this is making me feel good. And I had to say that pretty much every single day until finally in January. So this began in August of 2023. January of 2024, I finally got that conviction from God where it's like, you're done. You're done with this. It's time to come back home. And I did. I went back home to God. And many of you may be walking in that prodigal season, and some of you may hear God. And what I wanted to share too is that God would give me signs. I could definitely see the signs, but I just chose to ignore them. I'm just like, okay, God, I see you, but okay, I'm still gonna do me. And the amazing thing is that even though I was doing all that stuff, God never condemned me, never made me feel horrible, never made me feel like a bad person, because he was there welcoming me with open arms. And if you're going through your prodigal season and you're feeling shame and condemnation, that is not God. God does not make you feel like that. It's the enemy. The enemy tricks you into doing things. And yes, we have at the end of the day, we are the ones that make that decision and we do it. But he tricks us. And then once we do those things, he comes back and whispers in our ears and condemns us, puts a lot of shame. And you know what? You are not the person that is doing that stuff. Like yes, you did those things. And when you come out of that season and you look back, you are not that person. That's not who you are. You are the person who God called you to be. That is who you are. Yes, we all make mistakes and it's okay. And at the end of the day, God is going to forgive you because he loves you and he wants you to come back home. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. Because I started in August and I didn't come back until January. That was 5 months. 5 months. To some it may feel like a long time. To some it may not feel like a long time. I know there are some people that go through their prodigal season for years. But it's okay. Because God is watching you and he's watching over you. And he just wants you to come back home. And you will come home when you are ready, because God isn't going to push you to come back home. He's going to call you to come back home. He's going to guide you home to him. But he's going to do it gently. Very, very gently. Because God is a gentleman and he doesn't come and push us and force us to do anything that we do not want to do. So I hope this helps people. I hope it helps someone, because you are loved. You are so, so loved, and you are worth so much. And it doesn't matter how deep you think you are. Once you reach rock bottom, the only way you can go is up. And Jesus is there holding his hand out, ready to pull you out of your situation. I hope everyone has a good night, a good day, wherever you are. And I will be back with another video next Friday.